Hey guys, Brendan here. Today I'm reviewing John Carpenter's 1980 classic, The Fog. A pretty simple ghost story. Vengeful ghosts come back on the 100-year anniversary of a town called Antonio Bay and exact their revenge, taking victim after victim with their hooks and their swords. It's a really simple ghost story, but it's a John Carpenter ghost story, so you get it's wonderfully shot in anamorphic widescreen, giving his movies a very epic taste. And he shot just about all of his movies that way to give them a nice big look to it, and it almost feels sort of like an epic type horror movie if it wasn't as short as it was. Like I said, it's just a simple ghost story. I won't get into the plot too much. It stars Adrienne Barbeau as a single mom radio DJ host who has a radio station out of a lighthouse, which I thought was pretty cool. So I like about movies. They just put mixed jobs up in different locations, and a radio show running out of a lighthouse, that's pretty cool. Goes with the whole Halloween theme as well. There's Jamie Lee Curtis is in here playing essentially the opposite of Laurie Strode from Halloween. This movie was made 2 years after Halloween, so they put Jamie Lee Curtis on all the posters for The Fog, and she's just a supporting character in this movie, but I found that interesting. I mean, this is one of those movies where it seemed like there was a bit of studio intervention, but that doesn't cheapen the movie at all. It's well shot. The ghosts look great. John Carpenter's always great at assembling an entirely awesome cast, and this one is no exception. Tom Atkins is in there of Halloween 3 and Night of the Creeps fame. Nancy Loomis, who played Annie in Halloween, is back. Janet Leigh is playing the mayor of Antonio Bay, and she does a pretty good job in this as well. Hal Holbrook, who was also in Creepshow, a movie I reviewed a couple weeks ago, he's in this playing a priest, a particularly great character. And Hal Holbrook, I always think, does phenomenal jobs in his acting, and this is no exception. He does a really good job at playing sort of the priest who discovers the truth behind how Antonio Bay was founded and why these ghosts are coming back and they're going to be killing people because they're so pissed off. Now, the ghosts are only there to get a certain number of victims, and the fog looks unique. It doesn't look like a cheap movie fog at all. It has this pulsating glow to it that gives it a very eerie feel, and the first scene where you really encounter the ghosts is a fishing ship gets attacked by them, and they essentially have the old ship with the mast and stuff go right by them, an old ghost ship. It's interesting hearing the characters tell the ghost stories, and it opens up with a campfire ghost story on the beach where they're talking about Antonio Bay. And I just think this is one of those, it's not a particularly great in terms of the scare factor, but it's a good ghost story all the same, and it's great for this time of year. It would be great to watch on like a double feature back to back with John Carpenter's Halloween. This film was eventually remade, and the John Carpenter remakes that have been done all suck. So I hope studios are starting to learn their lesson that don't remake John Carpenter films, because they're just gonna suck. And on the Fog remake, John Carpenter stated he just collected the check. That's all. That's all he did. He had no creative input whatsoever. The Assault on Precinct 13 remake was crap. The Rob Zombie Halloween remake was crap. Stop remaking his stuff. He's a great filmmaker, and the Fog sort of goes under the radar, I think, if you look at the rest of his filmography with Escape from New York, The Thing, which I'll be reviewing The Thing later on, and maybe that'll be a two-part review because I love The Thing. It's my favorite John Carpenter movie. But The Fog, it just goes under the radar, I think, because it's a smaller film. It feels smaller. He made it right after Halloween, so it didn't exactly live up to everything Halloween had set up. Halloween was a huge success at the time. It was the biggest independent film ever at that point. I think the next one after that was maybe Blair Witch Project in terms of horror films. And in terms of the ghost movie subgenre, The Fog really doesn't rank high up there, I think, along with like Poltergeist and The Shining and The Haunting. But it's a good holiday ghost story. The film is fantastic. Like I said, it's got a great cast of John Carpenter regulars. Charles Cyphres he's in a bunch of John Carpenter movies. You'll recognize him. He plays a weatherman in this, or a guy, a weather station guard. Another thing I really like this movie is the characters are smoking in this movie. I miss horror movies where people just sit around and smoke. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being nostalgic for the old school days of Rod Serling hosting Twilight Zone. But that was just something that caught my eye when I was watching it. And the movie isn't gory. I mean, you see hooks going to people's necks and stuff like that, but it's not like there's blood spraying or anything. I mean, Carpenter usually plays it pretty low key with the gore. He only really got into that later on. The Thing being a big example, obviously. But if you're looking for something to watch this year and haven't quite heard, you've probably heard of The Fog, but probably haven't seen the original, check it out. It's worth seeing. John Carpenter, again, another fantastic film made with his writing partner Deborah Hill, and he did the music. I love John Carpenter's scores. Well, he's one of my favorite filmmakers, so obviously I love his score, but a great electronic score in this one that gives The Fog its own identity, and try to check this movie out. I can't recommend it anymore, and I'll see you on the next edition of R&B Reviews. Thanks for watching.